Welcome to the Wedding Weeds podcast. Your host is Tracie Morris, award-winning certified wedding planner at her company, You're the Bride. Tracie has over 2 decades of wedding industry experience. She is a mentor, blogger, and influencer, and she shares real stories, tips, and advice with couples who are tying the knot. Tracie's team helps busy, engaged couples maneuver big and small details so that they can enjoy their wedding experience instead of getting lost in the details, which is much like getting lost in the weeds. Enjoy this episode.
Hello, I am so excited for my pilot episode of the new Wedding Weeds podcast. Thank you for joining me. I am your host, Tracie Morris. It has been a labor of love to put this all together. A lot of research on how to get it going, a few delays and some minor setbacks with everything getting configured on the back end, but I have learned a lot on this journey and I'm finally here. It is 11:53 on Tuesday evening, and I have a goal to get this podcast recorded. So I've met my goal before I jump on a plane to LA for a wedding conference on Thursday. So I'm so happy that it is finally done and I can check this off my list. As a wedding planner, you know we have checklists. Anyways, I wanted the pilot episode to kind of serve as a little background information on, the how and the why I started You're the Bride. I started this company in 1999 because I've always loved weddings since I was a small child. I've literally been obsessed with those weddings, everything from, the dress, the decor, the cake, the flowers. And I was even excited when I couldn't go to a guest as a wedding guest because my parents would be like, nope, no children allowed. So I was like, okay, well, I'll just stay up and wait until you get home, Mom, and hear all the details. So I would ask those, questions of my mother. What were the flowers like? What was the cake like? What was her dress? What color were the girls' dresses? It was so fun. And then she would bring a piece of cake home wrapped in a napkin, and I would eat that, usually for breakfast or at night if she would let me have it before bed. So a little bit more background just about myself. A lot of you obviously do know me from the wedding industry. Our past clients, I hope, are listening. And just bear with me on this new exciting journey. I did go to Baker College in Flint, Michigan. I received a bachelor's degree in marketing and business administration with a minor in travel agency management. I always knew that I wanted to be a girl boss and create my own destiny. While working at other companies, I would burn the midnight oil, staying up late, doing tons of research on the wedding industry, how to set up a business. And then I finally stumbled across a program called Weddings Beautiful Worldwide, which is a division of the National Bridal Serve based down in Richmond, Virginia. And they offered a certified wedding planner program. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is right up my alley. So this was really before the internet got big. And I was excited and I was like, I got to take these classes. So I signed up, I paid my money, and everything was sent to you in the mail. So it was so exciting to go to the mailbox and get my new lesson. From memory, there were about 17 lessons, and you had to get an A on every single test, because if you didn't, you'd have to take it over because our professor wanted us to be the best we could be. So there was a couple, that I got a B on. I was a little disappointed, but I took them over. I don't exactly remember which ones they were, but basically the courses were awesome. They were everything from, how to set up a business to directing a military wedding to bridal registries, picking out the right dress for different, shapes of your client. So it was very fascinating. And once you get through all 17 lessons on all different topics, you do a final exam. And then you get awarded with your certification. So then I was left with, okay, I have this great piece of paper. I'm certified wedding planner. Now what do I do? So my first client was my hairdresser. You know how the ladies, we sit in the chair, we talk about all the happenings, and she was getting married. So I was like, okay, let me, talk to her about this. And I was starting off my new service. Back in the day, it was called Day of Coordination. Now we call it Wedding Management because that services came a long way. And she said, yeah, I could really use some help. I need help setting up place cards and, candy. And, I'm going to be in hair and makeup. Who's going to do all this? So I started my first service. It was pretty cheap back in the day, like $200, I think is what I charged her. And, our rate obviously now is about $2,000 for a day of, but we have evolved. And like I said, we call it wedding management. Anyhow, I planned my own wedding in 1997 and I loved it. I've always been very organized. It was actually voted most organized high school senior year. I've always loved events. I helped out on the prom committee, float committees to put in the homecoming parade. So anything that had to do with like organizing details and just getting things done, like that's what I've always enjoyed. I did get my certification, as I mentioned, in 1999. After the client that was my hairdresser, I was like, okay, how am I going to get more clients? So there's something called the Knot, and the brides are familiar with the knot.com or Wedding Pro, I believe is what they call it now. There's message boards out there where brides could go out and be like, hey, I'm getting married. I need a coordinator. Do you know anything about Tracie at You're the Bride? And people would start talking about me. So I would, go out and spy and kind of check it out. It was really fun. So I would start getting lots of leads that way and filling up my calendar. And it was great. And I loved it. And, back in the day, I was a one-woman show. But since then, I have grown the company and I've needed help and assistance. And my sister helped me with a couple weddings. But then I was like, I really need to get more help. I can't do this myself. I was doing lots of weddings. I think my first season, I did 27 weddings by myself, no assistant. And it's a lot of work, but I enjoyed it. So then I started thinking, I hear all this stuff about getting an intern, and maybe I need to get an intern. So I did create and start my own internship program. And I've had it every year now, except through the pandemic, but I started in 2010. And I'll tell you what, I am so proud of the ladies that I have mentored and their success stories in the industry and beyond. They are just fabulous. I do cross paths with some of them. One is a wedding planner herself. I love giving her advice and mentoring her to this day. One works for Google. One works for, actually a couple of them work for, venues in the area. So it's really exciting to see how they have blossomed and excelled. And, I'm happy that I was able to put my hand in that and kind of mentor them. Today, though, we have grown to a team of 4, and we will continue to add associate wedding coordinators that will go out and coordinate weddings without me eventually. I am working on my vision for the company and scaling, which includes, lots of other projects. You may or may not know that I am a brand influencer. So I do currently work with many companies. I probably have about 60 in my repertoire, and we do collaborations. So I do have a media kit that we do send out, and it's pretty much anything from weddings, events, style, beauty, and decor. It kind of honestly magically started in 2008 when I started the company blog. People were just out there searching, and they would message me and be like, hey, you have a great blog and we would like you to, feature this product, or could you put a blog post out? And they were willing to pay money. So I was like, wow, this is pretty exciting. So I started a whole kind of separate stream of income, but through, the main company. So I'd really love to get back on those projects. I do some, here and there. But I'd like to focus more on that. We are doing one this week. We're doing a product review for a company that does wood bouquet. So we are working on that. So stay tuned, to our social media to see the product review and Instagram slides regarding that. But it's exciting. So I know the sky is the limit. There's a lot more I want to do with You're the Bride and take it to a whole nother level. I would like to get back into doing more. I have a degree in travel, and you may or may not know that, an associate's degree, a minor degree. So I would like to put that to use because I never actually got to work in the industry. I kept going on to school. I do have a marketing and business degree, but I would like to, offer our clients my expertise on fabulous honeymoon spots. So we are partnered with a honeymoon specialist right now. So I am working underneath him as basically like a registered travel agent through him. And he and I are going to work together to possibly go on, some fam trips so I can go and possibly do reviews of different like it could be a cruise ship, it could be a Hilton or a Hyatt or whatever. And then go ahead and just share those out with our clients in exchange for me doing the social media. Some of these trips will pay you. Some of them will just, give you the room and the board as long as you're promoting their company. So I'm really excited to get doing some projects like that. I just really want to take advantage of those travel perks as I get older. I love to travel. But basically, a little bit more on scaling the company and my vision is probably going to take some time, and the team knows what my plan is. So I would like our team here to eventually run the day-to-day tasks so I can move my efforts into those other areas that I've mentioned, as well as lots of other ideas that I have that I haven't even informed the team of yet. So that will be coming down the pike. But it is a work in progress to scale your business, and it will take time. I probably should have started that many moons ago, since I have been a planner for 24 years, but you live and you learn and you grow. So no time like the present, but I do want any new listeners to know, or new potential clients, that if you do book with You're the Bride and you want Tracie, obviously me, the owner, I'm still available. But I will be sending out some of our team members, and I don't want anyone to worry because they're all trained by me. We have very tight processes. So you will still be in great, capable hands of our team members to make sure that nothing is missed on your wedding day. I've always joked, gosh, I have so much knowledge and experience, and there's things that have happened that I've made notes of. So I was like, I could always write a book, but I was like, no, I'm going to start a podcast because that seems to be the new trend, right? Everybody's doing a podcast. So I'm like, let me get on the bandwagon with that. So basically, my plan for this podcast, oh boy, it has been literally just a brain dump of the past 24 years of wedding wins, woes, and wars. And I want to talk about all those things. I want to share more. I'm just so excited to start this journey with you. And, I really do hope that everybody will tune in more to hear more stories, real wedding stories, tips, advice. I'd like to have some vendor guests on to share their knowledge and how we partner together. I really do think it's going to be a fun space for me. And I really hope that you have enjoyed our first pilot episode. So please do me a favor and share this podcast out, as I would love to grow a new audience. And I really appreciate you listening, tuning in. Thank you for your support. I would love if you would check us out on our social media handles, which will be in the show notes. And we'd also love if you'd subscribe to our newsletter. That will be going out as well. And I'll include the link to the show notes in that. So again, call us to schedule your complimentary consultation. We would love to partner with you and make your wedding experience fun and memorable. All right, until next time. Don't come untied before tying the knot. This is Tracie Morris signing off with the Wedding Leads Podcast. Thank you and have a great night.